Hello, this is High Templar. Welcome back to one of my tutorial videos. This one is for Total War Rome 2 and about economy and politics. Although I did one of those videos like 2 years ago when I was starting the channel, my recording methods has changed and also there was a new patch. The patch that changes politics systems significantly added new mechanics. So I wanted to talk about those mechanics and redo the video in total because the quality of the previous one was really bad. So, without further ado, let's jump into this. Unfortunately, the changes that were applied with Empire Divided make the game a little bit easier. Final conflict right now is much easier to avoid in the previous patch. And also it gives you some... Sorry, we won't be hearing. And also it gives you some additional mechanics to gain influence, to control the other parties and so on and so forth. Alright, so this is our politics button. We'll start here. And this is thing that you need to do at the start of the game because it's really important. Now, going to the summary. Right now we control 62% of the tribal chieftains in here. Tribal chieftains is basically how many people are behind you. Even if you are a king, you need to have some people loyal to you, or there will be trouble. You will be having some public problems. And as you can see, if I would be at influence ignored, I would have minus 10% research rate, minus 10 public order per turn for all the provinces, which is very bad, minus taxes and minus morale for all units. Because if you are not liked, soldiers will not like you, people will avoid paying taxes and so on and so forth. And very quickly you can go to 1% bonuses and then even more, 2 and a 5, and then you are getting plus 5 which each one plus 5 to research rate, plus 2 public order, plus 5 tax rate, plus 5 morale. And the last one gives you plus 4 from the previous one, plus 4 public order, up to plus 12 public order throughout all your provinces for absolutely free. So this is very powerful because of the tax rate, because of the public order, because of the research rate, because of the morale. This is very important thing. And you need to control as much of it as possible. And I will tell you how to do that, how it works. There is nothing random here. There are some people on the internet that suggest that there are some random stuff here. Nothing's random here. Everything is perfectly in line. You need to just understand how it works. The other thing that was introduced, this was introduced very lately, is government type, which makes your play a lot easier. You have few government types. Here you have only 3. If you are playing like Rome or Carthage, you will have also Republic, which you will start with. It's very powerful. In the Kingdom, which is what we are having right now, you are getting some additional recruitment ranks to recruits. Experience rank to recruits, plus additional taxes and recruitment slots. In the Empire, which only you can have at your Imperial level 5, you can get additional edicts, so that's lots of more money, additional research rate, which is very powerful, loyalties from other parties, which is useful, and recruitment slots as well. Union will give you minus 10 upkeep for all armies, which is also very powerful if you use correctly, and military research rate, but also loyalty is less because it's a union. You are being followed because it's convenient, or they like you, not because they have to. And finally is one that is not visible here, I will show it later, is Republic, which gives you plus 10 public order, which is absolutely insane. And also plus 20% civilian research rate from the important ones. So this is also very cool one. And it will negate most of your problems at the start of the game if you are playing like Carthage, which before that patch was having huge problems with public order. Now they are like gone. Legendary difficulty, no problem. Right. So, here are details about your empire, and I will also tread upon your culture, because that's very, very, very important. My capital, obviously Nemesis, region zone, provinces zone, very, very basic stuff. This is Imperium level. Imperium level will give you few things. Not only will affect your economy, like a very minor increase to political action costs or corruption, but also on the low Imperium level you have very high loyalty for other parties, which is dropping down as we go. Dropping down very, very seriously. People will also not like you at certain level. You will have diplomatic problems. But as you can see, there are some public order penalties increased from the presence of foreign cultures, so people will not like foreign cultures as much. And that might be a problem as well if you have a very, very large country. Now, yeah, you obviously want to grow your empire. This is by gaining new land, most obviously. And you will get more armies maximum, more fleets maximum, more edicts maximum, spies, champions. This is not +1 per level, because I think on level 3 only you are getting more spies, champions and dignitaries, which are very powerful in this game. Alright. So this is summary. Now let's go. Diplomacy is external politics, so we won't talk about that. Not right now. I might do a separate video for this one. Now these are other parties. Right now there is only one other party. It might grow. If you are starting with Carthage and Rome, you will have 3 of those. And each party is different. They like different things. Right now we are protected, so nobody will make a secessional civil war for 20 turns. But if you are not very liked, we might have a secession, and those guys might break off from us, the land that they control, because they will control some land. Right now it's 0 regions, because we only have 1, but I will show you later in the game that it can be significant, especially if those guys have a large influence. The more influence they have, the larger amount of regions we'll have. Right now those guys control 452 out of the 1200 chieftains, which makes up 38%. I control 748, which makes up 62. Right? You have 2 actions, very, very important actions that will help you a lot. One is purging. Purging will decrease their loyalty, so increase the chances of them breaking down. You can even cause them to break down because you do want to eliminate this party. That might be your plan. You will be obviously prepared. But generally, it will decrease their influence by up to 4%. My tests show that it's pretty much always 4%, but it says up to 4%, so I must believe that. It will decrease their loyalty for 10 turns, so they will remember it. And other factions will also not like it. Minus 10 loyalty for 5 turns. But if they are losing 4% and I am the only other faction, I'm gaining 4%. Which is very, very important, because next level gives me a lot of more research rate, public order, tax rate, and what's not. So, purge is not such a bad thing. We can also pay them money to secure their loyalty. The other thing that we can secure their loyalty is we can promote their characters. This will also give them, not only this guy will have, this is general from the host crowns, not only he will have lesser upkeep for his armies, but also bigger taxes in the province, but also it will increase their because it will increase their loyalty. However, when we are at character screen, let's explain things very carefully. Firstly, we have tribal chiefs. These guys compromise of these are basically the percentages of how much influence you control in your kingdom, in your empire. So 12 tribal chiefs is basically 1% of influence. The other thing is gravitas. The sum of all gravitas plus all from the dead generals, which is very important, is allowing you to control that influence. So basically, if you have a very low gravitas, if sum of all your gravitas is very, very low, I'm not sure how much of a hidden gravitas is here, but I would assume like maybe 50. Then you will basically control with each gain gravitas, you will gain some more influence. If, for example, all gravitas in here for this army, for this empire, is 100, and this guy has 18, right? And I will gain 2 gravitas, I will gain 2%, okay? If the whole gravitas for this empire is 1000, by getting 2 gravitas, I will not get 2%, I will get 2 tribal chiefs instead. 0.2%. So it's really, you should really secure as much gravitas as possible at the start of the game. And one way to do it is to get free promotions. Now, promotions can be given to the guys that are over 20. This guy is. This guy is not. I cannot give him promotions. First promotion is for free. Later promotions you have to pay more and more money for each promotion. You can have a second promotion only if your guy is 25 at least. And you have rank 1. As you can see here we have ranks. Military ranks and public office ranks. Right? So I can only promote people that have some higher level than level 1 basically. Level 2 I can promote him to, I can give him a second promotion. Level 3 I can give him third promotion and so on. First promotion for free. So let's do that. Let's see how much influence can we get from this. We've grown our gravitas quite a lot, but we got 4% of the influence. That means with each promotions we will probably get 4-3% as well. When this guy will hit 20, we will promote him and get more percentage. Also, unfortunately, if we promote this guy, we will lose a lot of influence as well. So this is something that we need to remember when promoting people, right? You can get gravitas from trades, from households, and from battles, basically, and from actions. I will show you missions in a moment. But basically, if this guy is a general and wins a battle, he will get gravitas. So you don't want to have generals from these guys. Or if you do have generals, station them in a place when they are only defending, when they are like keeping control on the bottleneck so that the Galatians will not attack you or whatever. Right? You have to keep army in this part of the empire so the barbarians wouldn't be tempted to attack you, but he's not really in active warfare. This is what we use those guys for. This way they will not get a gravitas. Your king, your leader of your faction, always have a maximum promotions. You cannot give promotions to him, not anymore, not since patch. And he's getting 4 gravitas per turn, and plus 3 influence for your party, which is very, very powerful, very, very cool. Also, he's get less upkeep for all land units, which is nice as well. So basically, this guy gets you a lot of gravitas, and this guy right now also gets you 1 gravitas per turn. So the more promoted your guys will be, the more influence they will gain as well. More tribal chiefs and more influence. Right? There are some actions that will cost you tribal chiefs. And this is very important. Right now, tribal chiefs, like if I pay 4 tribal chiefs, or if I pay 12 tribal chiefs, I will only lose 1%. But 1% for us is like 5 gravitas at this very moment. I got him 15 gravitas, he got 4%. So with 1 promotions I can offset that. Later on, if you pay a price in tribal chiefs, you will be losing influence that you will not be able to gain back because your empire has like 5,000 gravitas in total. Because all your generals has so much gravitas. And also, every dead general is counted to the gravitas pool. So that's why there is some hidden gravitas in here, and you will not see it. When we promoted this guy, we get 4% out of these promotions, but he got a lot of gravitas right now, like 15, 16, something like that. We didn't get 15%, 20% of this influence, which we would if that would be all the gravitas there is. We would get like 30%, about 30% we would get. 20 something. If that would be all gravitas there is. But there are some dead guys on both sides that are counting to the total of this gravitas. If you lose this guy, you will not lose his gravitas. You will not actually plummet a lot down. That's not what's going to happen. And this trait will be gone to his this is party member, this is party leader, this is the successor. So the successor will get the max promotion trait for free. That's something you want to remember. Alright. So we got promotions. We got that fighting is getting you some more traits. What else can we do with the guy? Well, if the guy is not a general, we can send him on a mission. Firstly, we can set in a diplomatic mission. Basically, there is a chance to increase standing with this particular tribe. But we will lose some loyalty for all other parties because we are sending our guy. If we send this guy, he will get +5 loyalty for this particular party. Right? Loyalty is very cool. We can send those guys on a diplomatic mission. We don't want to send those guys for administrator mission, which we can. This will give me, for example, a lot of public order in this province. Which is useful even if you are 0, because public order is very important in Rome 2. You want to have as much as possible, unlike Warhammer when you just want to have not -100. That's all. In here you want to have as much as possible. But all in all, this guy, for the administrative missions, we are also getting gravitas, which is very, very important. Gravitas can get you this additional influence points, which is very nice. And finally, we can also organize feasts, which also gives us gravitas and will also produce food in some provinces. So basically, these guys we sent on the diplomatic missions, these guys we sent on administrator and organized feast missions. Right? Right. We can also embezzle the funds, which you should not do. Why? Because it costs you tribal chiefs. 17 tribal chiefs is like little more than 1% right now. But later on in the game, that will be not something we can... That's not something we will be able to offset, basically. Because we will need 100... If you have 1000 gravitas in total, which is mid-game, like early mid-game, you will need at least 100 gravitas to get that back. Which means a lot of won battles, like 10, 20 won battles to get that back. Or like, 7 promotions. Which is lots of money, which might be not something you might get, especially if you embezzle the funds, will not give you that much money, unfortunately. So do not do that. unless you are in real trouble, unless you have like 100%, so whatever. I mean, really, influence 100. If I lose 1%, that's nothing. Alright, so these are the characters. You can also hire statesmen, which is pretty much the same as before. All of those guys are for horse clans. Remember, if you are hiring people from your clan, it will cost you in tribal chiefs. So do that early on, so you can offset that by gaining gravitas through battles and so on. Also, if there is a good guy here that we want to get for our party, like this guy, Graph and Public Order, maybe, I mean, probably not. We would like to have somebody cooler. This guy has not as well. But in hypothetical situation, if I hire this guy as a statesman and I want to adopt him, it will cost me a lot of tribal chiefs, close to 4% actually, right? So it will be very hard later on in the game to get more guys from your family and sustain your influence. Remember that. Remember that will be harder and harder to play the game only with your generals, because your generals will die, and if you get one from your family, again, you will get a significant drop in the influence, because each one will cost a lot of tribal chiefs or senators or whoever is being. This guy has 1200 tribal chiefs. For Rome it will be few hundred senators, but it's the same, it's just percentages that really important. So if I have 400 senators instead of 40 tribal chiefs, I will for adopting this guy I will have to spend like 12 tribal chiefs. Many actions like assassinating the wives and so on will cost you tribal chiefs. Remember that. That's very important. Do that only later on in the game. So let's purge those guys because we can. And we are at 70%, which is what we wanted. At the start of the game, we are getting, not only we are getting 5% more research rate, but also more taxes, more public order, and more morale for our units. Right? So that's a good start. 70% is a very decent start. Right? Technologies is another matter. Records is basically what you do. So that's not really politics. Alright. Let's talk about the protection, the civil wars, successions, and so on. So you have loyalty. Right now this loyalty is minus 12, but they will not break from us because we are protected. Let's go to one of my previous games. And this is Carthage game I played before the patch. So you will see negative food because but the bigger empire of the mid game will show you better the mechanics of those actions and the mechanics of how they are breaking from me. Alright, so this is my faction. Okay, so if I go to the map, this is my empire. Here, if I click here, political party affliction, you will see that Baracid, which is my empire, my dynasty, is controlling most of the empire, right? Hanoids control only this single province. Magnoids control all the Graecia, and landowner parties control all the Carthagenses and parts of Vatica. So they are pretty powerful in my empire. Let's go here. As you can see, I'm peerless, and I control 75%. You need to have, if you have one opposing party, you need to have 90%. If you have Republic, you start with 3 parties, opposing parties, like in Rome and Carthage, you only need to get 70%, so it's easier. But right now, I'm running my risk of parties succeeding is 98%, because that was something I've done before the patch, right? And all those guys don't like me, because I haven't been doing with them anything really. I can provoke them to make them secession, to make them secede. Right, so those guys, let's go to the summary. Actually, let's not. Let's go to the politics. Those guys, Magnoids, control 5%, Hanoids control 3%, and loud owners are pretty powerful, 17%. And these are the leaders of those parties. As you can see, none of them are generals. So that's why I have as much. I played all my generals except for this guy, which I would venture he's in Tolosa. Which I venture guess he's just standing there defending. I don't recall where Tolosa is actually, unfortunately. But I'm sure he's just standing on guard somewhere. All those guys are just standing there doing absolutely nothing. This guy's married. But I've kept him because his wife is a bit of a spendthrift, and I sometimes put him on some provinces that has a very good public order to get more money out of them. But all in all, I have lots and lots of generals, including Hannibal. And those guys, as you can see, rank 10. Nice. Is it? Right, and this guy had, obviously, most of my guys are pretty high ranked. Oh, or not. I don't recall. Not that much. But I have a lot of gravitas, as you can see. So if I promote one of those guys, as you can see, lot of gravitas. There is few thousand of gravitas already, including the generals in this. So right now, I'm controlling 224 of 300 judges. If I promote this guy for free, he's getting some more gravitas, but I've got only one more judge. And that was lucky actually. I might probably not get anyone. With the next promotion, I will probably not get anyone. Right? Because I was close, apparently, to get that judge. And I'm still at 75%. So nothing really happened. It will be very hard. I will have to get quite a few promotions. Like divorce would cost me judges. 15 judges. That's 5%. Out of 300. 3 judges is basically 1%. So that's 5% of all my... just for divorcing. That's crazy. Assassinating 3 judges. And so on and so forth. So it costs. It costs a lot. And I don't want to lose that, because if I do like 2 actions like that, I will drop by 1 right now. So it's really hard to maintain that. Right? So to save that situation really, I mean, those guys, like I said, do not control anything important. We'll actually do a secession to show you how the secession works. Because right now my secession risk of something happening is 99%. Especially after I did this promotion. It used to be 98. Okay. Firstly, I need to offset that food because I will be starving and I don't want to do that. So let's quickly go through my provinces. I will be not saving that again. There must be a province that eats a lot of money, and this eats a lot of food, and this is Carthagensis, which I'm doing 2100 income, so whatever. Minus 16 for those guys. Minus 14 for those guys. Actually, let's do this one and let's not do Carthagensis. it brings too much money. And I need to find one more, which is doing negative. -5. That's not the one I'm looking for. -8. And only 2000. That's the one I'm looking for. Alright, so we are positive in food. I would probably want to make sure I have more food. Just like super quickly. Oh, I just got this place, as you can see. That's not supposed to be a gameplay. I'm just showing you the politics. And then I will show you the economy. But first let's see how our parties will behave. Now I need to get this guy, and I need to get him. So where is Tolosa? Need to find it. I don't recall where is it. This is Carthage, Lispo. Was it here somewhere? Can I get... No, I cannot zoom on this guy. I guess I can just go through them all one by one. I have lots of these armies, generals and what's not. His name is Sinisio. Or something like that. Yep. Here he is, defending against barbarians, as I've mentioned before. It would be a problem if he were to get... I need to replace him with somebody from my family, even if that will cost me, if I want to show you this. Do I have anyone from my party? That's only Magnoids, Hanoids, landowners, Magnoids. Hanoids, landowners, Hanoids. None from mine. Okay, let's adopt this guy. Bribe him. Yeah, let's bribe him. This is actually amazing because it will allow me to get... With the adoption costs like a lot more than bribing. What? Come on. Okay, last 9. He doesn't want to join party, maybe Mago will. Mago is decent. Okay, those guys don't want to join me. I do need to get, as you can see, yeah. It's possible that it will not work, which is a problem, isn't it? I'm losing money and not getting anything for that. Yeah, okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just disband this army. Even if that's... I just don't have time to properly solve that situation. Now we still have 100% risk of secession. So I will show you how that works. Also we have some small problem with this guy. We're going to blackmail family. Right. We won't do any movement of troops or anything like that. We don't need to. We are not at war with anybody right now. We killed everybody. I was planning on doing something, but I have a side gamer. As you can see, I was planning on doing something. Let's just go through it and I will show you how this works. Oh yeah. Let them win. I forgot I need to take out those guys. Just die. I had 2 fleets here waiting to kill this guy. Or fleet and an army, something like that. Now they want the city, which is troubling. But that's not really important, like I said.
My people can only dream of wealth like yours. Can you not spare some for us?
Yeah, why not? We will make you a client state.
The spirits have noticed that our treasure stores are wanting. Can you help with this small matter?
Yeah, not really what I want. What I want to do right now.
Use the spacebar to speed
Yeah,
up
okay.
the movement of all characters.
Sabotage,
armies, or
whatever.
fleets
That's not
on the
really.
campaign map. Press the spacebar again to slow them down again.
Plus 6 judges, that's amazing. We have more, but we didn't get a secession. Right? Yes, we need to do that once more. We just quickly killed this guy here. Yep. Let's get that back. I'm not worried about public order because I was getting pretty nice public order before. Yep, Lusitan is dead. Exactly. And let's try to make that secession once more. I'm sure it will happen. It's supposed to be 100%. I'm not seeing that 100% right now. Civil war erupts.
The young replace their elders. It is the way of things. Teeth, swords, or lies, all are the weapons of rebellion.
Very dramatic.
Use backspace on your keyboard to stop the movement of your armies, fleets and agents on the campaign map.
Attrition report, because I'm losing money. I wasn't looking at that before. Okay, so let's see. Right now, Carthago is fine. Right now, we got secession from those guys. If you will look at the political map right now, this is no longer mine. The Landowners Party, which was the most powerful faction, just split it from us. And we are protected because, you know, war has just started. We are currently fighting the civil war. When it will end, we can do something about it. But as you can see, those guys are just raising a very small army right now. And we have a lot of armies to counter them. Like a lot, and I mean a lot of armies in this place to just devastate them. So yeah, that's how the civil war works. It was supposed to be, before the patch, it was like 6-8 armies right here. Now it's just a secession from one of your parties. How can you avoid that? Well, let's try to lower the risk of that civil war. Although it's late in the game, I'm percentages much lower through the action. So, come on. So what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to go to the politics and do secure loyalty, which cost me like next to nothing really. Okay, so I've got myself lowered the risk to 90%. That's not much, yes, that's true. But this is something I did very, very quickly. Now let us send those guys to the diplomats' missions, to the people that we like, or people that we want to like Seleucids? Yeah, no, we'll be fighting Seleucids. We want to be on the good terms with... Actually, let's go with Seleucid and attack Egypt. So we will send those guys. On to different tribes. Armenia, why not? And Bithynia, because actually Bithynia is my target more or less. Nervi right now? Yeah. Alright, so right now I've gotten the risk down to 81% just by sending those guys on different missions. So just for those guys, and I haven't sent them on the missions yet. And it's that simple. It just really is. I can also secure the promotions, but that will give them more gravitas. But maybe that's something that is, doable. You have a wife. Yeah, really nice wife actually. You don't have a wife. Maybe we'll marry you at some point. Yeah, so bribes are. I would rather have done bribes. Rather than bribes, I would rather have the adoptions. But adoptions cost you more than money. They cost you judges. Same as getting guys. Same as getting new generals from your tribe. Which I don't think is possible right now. Yeah, those are just Hanoi's landowners. Okay. So as you can see, this is how we control. Obviously right now the risk is still pretty high, but if you do that from the very start, you would have much better time. Also, those guys, for example, hate barbarians. From each, or they are militaries. Oh, this is very good. For each victory, I can get +2 loyalty for 5 turns up to 10. So if this guy if I would apply this patch 10 turns ago, I would surely have plus additional 10 for the militarists, because I was doing a lot of battles and I won all of them. For traditional, also +1. Oh, this is already applied, isn't it? Yeah, traditional is still applied. For this guy, patriot, I could do this, for example, xenophobe. Okay, he doesn't like any treaties. Yeah, I would have agriculturalist. I would obviously have additional plus some. Right now I'm not getting him from the agriculturist. I would get if I would have food surplus, which I should have. Same here, militarists again, hate barbarians. So, as you can see, yeah, this -10 loyalty. I do actually have higher taxes because I can afford that. So as you can see, easier as you play the game to get those guys. And if you don't like this last trait, like this guy is, for example, for the taxes, I can heal him off and then get another. Yeah, provoking. Provoking is really expensive, but it's doable as well. I can provoke the faction I want and take them out. And this is also a great way to increase your influence, because if you are like low and then you get faction that was 32%, then this 32% will be redistributed to every other party. And that can be quite a lot for you if you are low. Alright, so that's about politics. Let's talk about economy, because economy, that is the first part of this video. We will talk about economy, we'll talk about economy in the second part of this video, but it will be a separate video, so because this one is taking for quite long already. So thank you for watching, hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will, and see my other videos in Total War, Warhammer, in Total War series in general, but also other games. Thank you for watching, and see you later.